I don't really know exactly like what the best words to say in a time like this, other than the importance of having each other's back and being in community with each other. I think over the last week or so, we've seen our most marginalized community members, but most importantly, our brothers, our sisters, our family members, the people that we go to school with, the people that we hang out with each other, and to see the violence that has occurred over the past week is really an indication as to, number one, the issue centered around gun violence and the lack of action needed by not only the city of Providence, but the state as a whole, to be able to allocate funding towards not only the people that are doing the work every single day, but the people that are actually affected by gun violence in this city, and most importantly, for organizations like the Nonviolence Institute to get not just funding to be able to operate and change lives here. We need the Nonviolence Institute to have the full capacity in terms of street workers, in terms of victim services, and that is the most important part. As we have city councilors here, as we have community advocates here, as we have state reps here, is how do we collectively come together and save lives? Because at the end of the day, the only place that this happens is in low-income Black and brown communities. That's the only place that it happens. And as an organization that is dedicated to the lives of Black and brown people in this state, but most importantly in this city at this time, for the governor of Rhode Island to put out a tweet when you have a 7-year-old who is in critical condition last night, and for him to put out a tweet talking about Joe Mazzulla is coming to town at the State House on Tuesday for the basketball trophy, when people in our community are dying, literally dying. And so we need a significant, not just thoughts and prayers, but we need allocation of resources. We need policymakers to come to the table, and not the policymakers that aren't affected by gun violence in their communities, but the people that are in the communities doing the work. Those are the individuals like Lisa Warren, like others in the community, that understand what it takes to be able to solve this issue. We don't have a speaking program, but I wanted to just say those words. And Lisa, if you want to say a couple of things.
First and foremost, I just want to thank you all for being here, because as you know, it's really, really important, and I think that, we can all agree that today we woke up with a heavy heart and feeling like, we have to do more. I don't have the answers, and I'm not here to point fingers at anyone. I'm not here to say this one needs to do that, that one needs to do this, but what I am going to say is it takes all of us. We all have to do something. We all have to take responsibility. And I mean that from the community. This is our community, right? We have to take responsibility and accountability for our community. Where did we get to this place where we are allowing young people to put us in fear? Where young people are so brazen that they're gonna pull out a gun in broad daylight, because if you look at the track record over the last couple of weeks, there's been multiple things that have happened in broad daylight. And I know that because me and my team have responded in broad daylight. I walked away from my granddaughter's birthday party in broad daylight. So that's why I'm telling you, I know. It wasn't night. I didn't get waken up in the middle of the night. I was in the middle of having dinner. It's broad daylight. It's when our community is out here walking around active when these things are happening. Like, how did we allow it to get to this point? We all know that there are so many guns in the community. We know that's an issue. What do? Again, I don't have the answers, and I feel like today, I had so many people calling me and texting me, asking me, what are we going to do? I'm asking everyone else. I'm down for whatever. I'm here because I love my community. And because I'm not going to give up without a fight. We have to do something. I have a little girl at home the same age as the little girl laying in the hospital bed right now. I was with her mom last night when her mom got to see her. And all I could see was my child in that bed. I pray to God that I never ever have to experience the things that some of the mothers in our community have experienced. But I know for damn sure the one thing that we have to do, we have to figure out as a community, not in silos, not against each other. We have to learn how to communicate and figure out how do we do it together. There are resources in our community. Why aren't we putting them together? Okay? Yes, we need funding. We need city funding. We need federal funding. We need state funding. Yes, we need all of that. But what about the organizations in the community? Why aren't we sitting down at a table figuring out how we can do it together? Let's put our resources together. We're more powerful together. Again, I thank you all for being here, but you know, this is what we do when we're outraged, right? This is what we do. We want to have vigils and rallies and come out and march. I think it's all great, absolutely, because we need to show solidarity. But what do we do afterwards? I know there's a couple of people here that I asked if they would like to speak, and one of them is Diana Garlington, my sister and friend. And I just thank you for being here, and I know that incidents like this really hit home, so I know it takes a lot for you to be here, but I just really appreciate you, and I thank you.
I'm just tired. I'm really tired of having to come out here and stand here and say, we don't want any more thoughts and prayers. That is not working. It's not solving these issues. And I saw yesterday and today that Lisa put up the post speaking about this 7-year-old child who is fighting for her life. We got all these wonderful comments and likes, but where is everybody who was on those posts saying that we need to do something? You gotta come out here. You have to be here with us. It's no more just saying that there's certain individuals in the community who stand out here and fight for this. Yes, I'm a mother. I lost my daughter to gun violence. But I'm not standing out here for that. I'm standing out here for my community. I'm standing out here telling you enough is enough. How are we letting these young kids take these lives and we do nothing? They don't own these streets. They do not own these streets, so why are we letting them come out here and take our children and take our streets? It's unacceptable. So it's time for us to stand up and do something. I don't want to keep coming out here talking about a rally. I don't want to keep coming out here asking and begging people. Like we're literally begging people to come out here and save our streets. This is uncalled for. And why did it take that we have to be out here for a 7-year-old child? It makes no sense whatsoever. And as Lisa said, we cannot blame anyone. No one's to blame. But we all have a hand in getting out here and doing what's right. Step out here and march with us. Do what needs to be done to stop this violence. I'm raising my grandson because someone decided that they was going to take my daughter's life. Now I'm out here and I'm fighting for him. I'm fighting for all the rest of my grandchildren. I'm fighting for these kids in the community. They're our kids too. They're not just born to their parents. It's time for us to step up as a community and do what's right. Thank you, Lisa, for having me come out here today. And like I said, I'm tired. I'm so tired of coming out here for these moments. But I know if this is what it's going to take, then I'll keep coming out here.
And I know that I can always count on you.
Absolutely. But it should not be on my shoulders to do this
That's right.
every single time.
That's right.
And I understand that there's parents who cannot get out here and do this. And I understand that there's people who are afraid. But we're going to be more afraid not fighting and stopping these shootings. It's time. Let's do something, please.
I'm not too good with words.
Yes, you
You
are.
all right? Yes, you are.
I just know there's a saying. It's in Islam. If you see it wrong, try to stop it with your hand. If you can't stop it with your hand, then you should speak out against it. You should say something about that. And if you can't say something about it, hate it in your heart. And it says the last of those three is the weakest of faith. So I kind of, when I seen that, I was compelled to say something. And then I feel as though, you know, sometimes you're in the background, but at the same time, sometimes you still need to come out. You need to say something, especially in support of you, Lisa. I told you when you became the director, we got you. We got your back. All of us support you. And that shit's not cool, man. I don't know where the camera is. That shit's not cool, man. There's some things you just don't do. Some things are just strictly unacceptable. There's no points for that at all. It's like totally disrespectful to everybody, to everything, on every level. Municipality, whatever, street, is disrespectful. And the other thing is, I agree with you, Diane. I'm looking because life goes on. Yeah, we got events, we got all this stuff happen, but wait a minute. Stop, pause for a minute, pause. Put it on pause. Put it on pause, because that shit ain't even that important. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you think you are. I don't care what your position is in life. Some stuff needs to stop. It needs to pause, because right now we're bleeding. There's a hemorrhage happening in the community. And from what I've seen, it's actually, it's happening more, because you keep posting about shootings, Lisa. You keep posting about shootings. And I feel bad. I feel bad for you every time, because I know that's your burden. But wait a minute, stop, pause. A 7-year-old little girl that should be getting ready for school is in a hospital fighting for her life. Everybody should be out here.
And her 5-year-old
Everybody
brother,
should be out here.
her 5-year-old brother was sitting beside her and witnessing.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, because I speak with emotion sometimes. I don't mean that. I don't
Yes,
mean
you do.
You're supposed to.
Yes, you do. It's all right.
Stop. Everybody stop. 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 Something's happening right now. When a 7-year-old gets shot and you keep posting about shootings, stop. Put it on pause for a minute. Whatever you got going on, it's really not that big. Really. Put it on pause and let's figure this out. Let's address this, because there's no way this girl should be fighting for her life. And I'm sorry to the family, and I'm also sorry that that predicament even was possible to happen. So I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you.
My name is Benny. I grew up here all my life. All 58 years of it. I've seen tragedy. I've seen sorrow. And I was one of the ones that stood in the back and talked about it. I think it's time to be about it. I think it is. One thing about me, and my nephews, nieces, and family members know this. You ready? They know that if they do something wrong, I'm not snitching. I'm telling. So they know not to do wrong. If you're a family member, I'm sorry. I love you. That was wrong. I'm telling. Stop it. Yeah, Uncle, how do you stop me from telling?
Don't do it.
You don't do it. That's my message. Don't do it, because they know. Stop. I'm telling. That's it.
So, Sal Montero of Nonviolence Institute. I've been teaching nonviolence training in the beloved community along with Shane and Lisa. I've been at the Institute for almost 20 years. I've been to Chicago, I've been to LA, I've been to Paris, I've been to Ireland, I've been to California, Michigan, New York. And the one thing I can always say with proudness is that the stuff that happens in other cities doesn't happen in the 401. We know that violence happens. We know that people get shot. I spent half my life in Chicago, so I know what happens in Chicago with young kids. But the one thing that I held proud, even if I don't agree with everything with the police, was I never had to wake up in the morning and see Providence Police have shot somebody, a young person has gotten killed, right? I never had to wake up to that. Never had to worry about that. I'm worried about that now. I'm worried about that now. So it's up to us. The 401, it is the beloved community. Let's not be cowards. The first principle is nonviolence is not for cowards, it's for courageous people. Let's be courageous with everything that Benny said, everything that Lisa said, everything everybody else said. We cannot be cowards. Everything that happens, we cannot be cowards. We are cowards if we sit back and let this continue to happen.
I want to thank everyone again for being here. I especially want to thank Mayor Brett Smiley and Commander Tim O'Hara. I know that you slept just as much as I did in the last 24 hours because we've been in communication. And I want to thank you for the hard work that you all did in making sure that there was arrest made today and that we have 2 people to hold responsible. Again, this was just to bring community together. This was on short notice. A few of us, James reached out to me, I reached out to Diana and Harrison and different folks, and we just all started communicating and just said, let's just get together. And sometimes that's what we really need, is just getting together, even if we just stood here together. Okay? We're all grieving right now. We're all going through a tragedy. And for the family members, I know that you hear us and I see you and you see us, and I want you to know that you're not alone and that we're here to support you. I see more and more folks coming. It's just making me, Pastor Sherrod, thank you for being here. Rodney coming with his beautiful daughter. I hope that it doesn't take another tragedy for us to come together and have a conversation. Let's get real serious about it and have some conversations and not in silos, because that's what's happening too. We have a lot of silos going on. I don't want to keep everyone all night, but what I would like, if there's anyone that would like to share anything else, if you would like to say anything, please let me know. Who's that? Well, Mayor, I think they're asking for you to speak. I was trying to give him a break because I have been with him a few times today. He did a lot of speaking, but if you are willing to just say a word or two, please do.
I didn't want to turn this into some political thing. This is a time that the community is really hurting, and what we talked about earlier today is we all need to do better. We all need to do more, and I'm proud of the work of the Providence Police Department, but that's not the answer. More police isn't the answer. And so I guess I feel like Lisa, which is you have ideas, bring them to us. There's a lot of public officials here today at the state level and at the city level. Bring it to us. We all need to do more. I need to do more. My team is ready to do more. I know the council is ready to do more. The State House is ready to do more, but I don't know the answers. I know that what we're doing are good things, and part of the answer is doing more of that, but maybe we need to try other things. So it's a moment of vulnerability and sort of desperation of asking for good ideas and asking for ways in which you think we can be helpful, and honestly asking for all of your help, because government policy, writing checks to organizations isn't going to solve this. It's got to be people coming together, and it has to be the community standing up to say that this is not okay. Lisa said it. We're trying hard to get every gun off the street that we can. We're trying hard to make it harder to get a gun in the first place. But we also are living in a community right now where people think it's okay to fire that gun. And gun control is not going to solve that problem. That's a community problem. And that doesn't mean that it's not my problem, it's all of our problem. And so I really don't have much to say other than I know Diana's right, and she said that our thoughts and prayers aren't enough, but we do have a little girl who's still in the hospital fighting for her life, so whoever it is that you pray for or pray to, pray for her right now, because she's still in that fight. I know. So I think that that's worth something. I believe that's worth something. But in the meantime, we're all ears. We're all ears to do more, and want to try everything we can to break this cycle at a time that this entire city is afraid and heartbroken. So I really don't have anything else to say.
Hi everyone. I also didn't really want to speak because these events tend to take the attention away when politicians speak. My name is Miguel. I'm the city councilor just in the neighborhood right over here. Of course, much gratitude and support and love to Lisa, Non-Violence Institute, and every other community member that's here. There's a lot of pain, there's a lot of suffering in our community. It's important to acknowledge that and embrace those feelings and emotions, but just as important to not let them defeat us. It's important to acknowledge these feelings, but to be there right now, most importantly for the family and our community here that's fully impacted, but to continue the work and not just get together and tragedies. The work of ending gun violence is work that needs to be worked on 365 days a year. Whether there's 10 shootings and murders in the city or there's one, the goal of all of us collectively here is that there's 0 murders in our beautiful city that we all call home. And one small avenue that a few of us have started working on is a committee on municipal level. It's called Committee to End Pathway to End Gun Violence here in Providence. We have folks from the Non-Violence Institute on it, people from the AG's office, different community members. Of course, the Providence Police Department is also on there. So I just want to inform you guys that that is an avenue that I encourage you all to participate as much as possible. Every single meeting, there's an agenda, but more importantly, there's a space for public comment, because ending gun violence is going to be on all of us. It's going to be on the community, on us elected officials. It's really going to take all of us to move in a different direction. And lastly, I just want to say, I had a small conversation with Lisa, is that we got to take care of ourselves. This weighs super heavy on all of us. And as Mayor Smiley is very aware, as elected officials, it's so easy to get caught up in the next city issue, the next problem, the next municipal challenge. But I'm gonna take time this weekend to definitely feel and be a human being. Because if we're not that, then none of these systemic issues are gonna get addressed. And at the end of the day, that's why we put ourselves in these positions, to be there for our community as much as possible and to tear down some of these systemic issues. So as a city councilor, as a Providence resident, as a neighbor of this community, I just want to let you all know that I'll always be here fighting to change the direction that we're currently in right now. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lisa. I never ever speak. I've lived in Providence almost my whole life, and I did community work for many years. And the last 2 years, I've been telling people I'm retired. And I feel guilty about that. My heart hurts so much. So Lisa, Diana, anybody, I'm back and I'm gonna help. And we just, even if you don't want to, you have to come out and start helping again. We need a strong presence of people out here trying to help these kids, trying to stop this. I don't know what to do.
Again, I want to thank you. Would you like to say something? Please don't.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Al. No titles is necessary. This evening, I was on my way to my son's scrimmage that was in Woonsocket today. And there was actually a post that Shane posted up and stated that what was happening out here. And just like my brother spoke about, sometimes things just need to stop. Everything that's going on in our life, our comfortable settings, our life as we know it needs to stop. As stated, I'm a product of Providence. I was afforded many opportunities out of state and just recently moved back because of the burden that was on my heart for my city. I stand before you today as a father, as a husband, as a first responder who has responded to calls like this, who even every time around this time of year, I think about a 17-year-old shooting that I had to respond to. And even all the efforts that we tried that day, we still weren't able to save him. We have to make sure that situations like this does not become the norm. When a 7-year-old gets shot, we need everyone to pull up and show that this is not okay. If this was any other situation that involved a police officer or any other situation, these streets would be packed.
Talk about it.
And that's not to give any bias or anything, but that's just being real. It's not about whether you live in the city. It's not about whether you live in the state or whatever. If you have a heart of compassion, this is where we should be. All of us play a role. Whether you are organizing, whether you are on a medic truck, firefighter, police officer, we all have roles. It's not about just when the cameras are on. It's not about sending out sweet little posts so that people can like it. But what are we doing when nobody is watching? What are we doing in our churches to step outside the walls of the church and actually be the church in our communities? This is where we need to be. At the hospital right now, interceding for that little girl. Interceding not just one shooting, but 2 shootings this week. This is not the norm. 3 shootings. This should not be the norm. So I'm asking Not only my community, I don't even live in Providence at the time. But because I'm a product of Providence, my heart still is with Providence. Still, we as a community need to continue to come together. I'm asking my fellow brothers and sisters, show up where you can and take action. If you have nieces and nephews, step up and talk to them. Be that person to walk alongside them. Don't criticize them for what they are doing. Be transparent about your life, about the struggles that we face here in Providence, so that they can see that they too can overcome with support. I'm putting out a calling to all those who are from this city or from this state, who may have gone out of state. I'm asking you all, take the time, even if it's once or twice a year, to come back and give to your community. Let's not get so comfortable in the places where we forget where we came from. So my prayer for my community is that we continue to unite. We continue to show up as brothers and sisters to show that this will not become the norm. That we can take faith and we can say we're going to apply action to it. Because faith without works is dead. God bless.
Again, thank you all for being here. We're gonna close out and we're gonna have Shane, if you're still willing to, Shane. He's gonna close us out. But remember, let's not make this a reaction every time something happens, right? I mean, it's okay, we can do this, God forbid if something happens. But what's in the meantime? What's in the between time? What are we doing? Let's really talk about that and make that happen. And please excuse me. And I want to say this out of no disrespect to the family or to Nylee. The only reason we didn't say her name was just because we didn't want to be disrespectful, but the family would like us to acknowledge her name. And her name is Nylee. Sorry, Nayel. My apologies. Nayel. So please, tonight, when you pray to whomever, as the mayor said, to whomever you pray to, please pray for Nayel and her family. Thank you.
And I sing this song, this touches home, because that is my family. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrows, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. Come on, everybody. Said, I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
That was a good way to end.
Thank you, everyone. Be well and stay safe.